Any of the opinions expressed on About Oneness or by its guests do not necessarily reflect those of the Enlightenment Evolution Network.
You are always on my mind, and that's okay. I love you till the end of time. Each and every day, what to do, what to say, when you've only got today. What to do, what to say. I once heard a wise man say, I'm giving love, I'm giving love, I'm giving love, I'm giving love. Time's a blink of the eye, still have someone in every moment that is mine. I cherish love, what to do, what to say, when you've only got today. Well, I'm giving love, what to do, what to say. I'm giving love when you've only got today. I'm giving love, I'm giving love, I'm giving love, I'm giving love. May the truth light your way, and may you decide to follow your heart. It will not misguide you. Live life, love, you'll never go astray. What to do, what to say, I've got one suggestion. The answer is love. Now what's the question? That's how I want to spend my day. Just giving love, what to do, what to say. I'm giving love when you've only got today. Well, I'm giving love, what to do, what to say. I'm giving love when you've only got today. Well, I'm giving love, 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 I'm giving love.
Hi, this is Karen Neumann, and today's show is an archive show. It's a rerun of an interview that I did on Victoria Vives' show on the Enlightenment Evolution Network 2 called Earth Sky People Radio. It's every Tuesday from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This interview is really everything that I would like to tell everyone about myself, the work that I'm doing, and the channelings that I do with Theos. So please sit back and enjoy the show, and I'll see you next week.
Hello, this is Earth Sky People Radio with your host, Victoria Vives, and you can find me at victoriavives.com. Today is Tuesday, September 2nd, 2014, and I would like to tune in together, so take a moment to take a deep cleansing breath, connecting with your heart center, breathing deeply in and out, and becoming more and more aware of your connection with the Earth, Mother Earth. You can even feel her energy holding you safe, secure, nourishing you. So enhance that connection by sending some love to Mother Earth. And when you feel that connection with Mother Earth, beautiful green roots come from your feet into the earth, passing through all the layers of Mother Earth and connecting you with all life on this planet. So you can feel more and more our interconnectedness, all of us together, bringing love to Mother Earth. Take one more deep cleansing breath. And with that awareness of our connection, we're going to start the show. So we are together in Earth Sky People Radio. Earth representing our connection with Mother Earth and nature, and sky representing spirituality and life beyond the Earth, extraterrestrial or extra-dimensional life. And last week we joined together with my shamanic mentor, Gretchen Creeley McKay. And you can listen to that show in the archives, and it was really amazing information.
Thank you. Namaste. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here with us today.
I liked the meditation in the beginning. That was really beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. I really like that opportunity to join together at an energetic level.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Okay, I would like really very much for you to share about your show, because we are in the same network. That is so exciting to be here together.
I know, and we started in the same week, so that's our special bond.
Oh, yes.
Yes. My show is called About Oneness, and that's really what it is. It's about recognizing and reaching out to everyone who is starting to wake up to the oneness of us all. Wow. And that's the goal of the show, is just to just help us keep waking up just more and more and being more and more open. And so I have a lot of, I have the whole marketing spiel that I say about the show, but basically that's it. And I just, as guests, I only want to have people on there that I find fascinating. And so to share those, those people with the listeners, and, open up phone lines and let people call in and ask questions, and just, being able to interact with some of my heroes that I have heard of now and maybe hear of in the future. But it's wonderful, and as you know, just to interact with people that share your interests and your philosophies, and maybe you're walking down roads that you've never walked down before.
Wow. So how beautiful. And I can see in your career a very interesting change, which is very similar to mine, actually, because I also did a lot of singing and all of that.
I know, I saw.
So how was your past, how it transformed in this way?
Well, it's not that, I'll tell you, and this is the interesting thing, is that spirituality has always been my primary focus of my life. Wow. Since I was a little child, that has always been what I've been primarily interested in. But, how you grow up, and it's not, my family was always supportive and open, and they just let me go and do what I felt led to do. But I always had these sort of separate lives. I had my fitness life, and I did gymnastics, and I was competitive in that, and then I started dancing and singing, and then, of course, later I started working, and I always kept everything separate, and because there just didn't seem to be a lot of room to have the level of spirituality that I was really sort of interested in, as far as, being completely consumed with the love of God. Wow. And so I kept everything really separate, and it's really only in the last few years that I have sort of come out to the world as, yes, I'm a singer, and I'm a medium, and yes, I do sport nutrition. The people who I was working with in the sport nutrition world didn't know that I even sang, and I had a very active and very busy singing career. Wow. And, and the people who were singing didn't know how much into spirituality I was. And so I've just now really, I guess, become brave enough to bring everything together.
And I know what you mean about brave, because I felt the same. Like I was living several different lives. And doesn't it feel amazing to be able to put everything together?
It does, and it's still, it's the level of acceptance, and whether people accept it or not, it's never been a big, I don't want to say it hasn't been a concern, because I haven't offered it to everyone, but I am completely surprised about how accepting people have been and how many questions. And I've actually gotten some messages from people saying, wow, I didn't realize you were so into spirituality, and wow, that really has helped me a lot. And I'm very surprised by that. So, it's great.
And
it's really great.
I'm sure that all of this part of you that is spiritual really translates in the music or the dancing that you do or anything that you would do, because it totally comes through in a different way, doesn't it?
I think so. I think that what it has woken me up to is the realization of how any artist who's good, at what they're doing and is really tuned in, whether they realize it or not. It's nice when you know that's what it is. But I think whenever you're doing any kind of art, whether it's writing or painting or anything, you really are channeling, something. When I write a song, generally I hear the song and I write it down. Right. I don't really sit down and try to find words to fit it. I just sort of listen to what's floating in the air and write it down, and it's always worked that way for me. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
No, that is awesome. I really love that. And one of the things that you focus on is A Course in Miracles. Is that correct?
Well, Course in Miracles has been a very instrumental thing for me, because it has some of the terminology and some of the just truths that I've known since I was a small child. Wow. And when I read them, which was, years later, I don't think I picked up Course in Miracles until I was, in my, say, late 20s, the first time I actually started looking at it. Wow. And there was actual verbiage in there that I had actually been hearing already. Oh. So for me, it was just huge confirmations of, yes, I really am hearing these things and feeling them. So in that way, it's just been a clarification of what I've known, but seeing it coming from a completely different place, a different person. It's just, how synchronicities work. These little confirmations, in that way, that's what that book has been for me, and that's what that course has been. And it's also been a way to get lessons and to be taught in a gentle way more of who I am and why I'm here. And when I say me, I just mean sort of everybody, why we're here, what we're here to do. And I love it. And what's interesting is now that we've gone through this amazing shift and people are really starting to open, even though Course in Miracles was written, it was written over a period of 10 years from 1967 to 1977, it's really relevant right now. It was written then, but it couldn't be more important than it is right now. Wow. So it's a good thing to visit.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We can use all the tools that there are, for sure.
Yes, exactly.
So for somebody that doesn't know about A Course in Miracles, what would you share with them about this book? What was the most special thing that you feel can help people's lives in this book?
Well, the first thing in the book is the introduction. And I don't have it completely memorized, but I do pretty much. And it says, wow. This is a...
That's amazing. Memorized. Oh, my goodness. I didn't know that.
Well, it's very short. It says, this is a Course in Miracles. It is a required course.
Right. I remember.
When you do it is up to you.
Right.
But the curriculum is not open for discussion. I'm summarizing now. So basically it says that everyone will do this. This is the journey of the soul. Right. And when you decide to do the work, this will be it. And it's not open for discussion what the course is. But then it goes on to say that that the truths of A Course in Miracles and basically the truths of the universe is that nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal exists.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's it. If you get that, you've got it. If you understand that nothing real can ever be destroyed or hurt in any way, and nothing unreal really even exists, then there's no need to worry about anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So that's the most important part of A Course in Miracles.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, and I know that it is a long process to go through the book. I have not been successful at completing it yet. I started twice with two different teachers, with different groups, and for some reason, my life was telling me this is not for you at this moment. So I stopped both times, but I really enjoyed the teachings, and I may come back to it for sure.
Well, we do a class well, it's not a class. Let's just say it's a discussion. We have a discussion every Wednesday. Roxanne Swainhart joins me on that, and also Crystal Vandenacker, who's my twin soul, my colleague. We've been working through it, and our idea about it is there's no time frame that we're working on going through everything. We're only in chapter 2 now, and it takes about 2 hours to discuss one paragraph, because I think it's important. Yeah, it's just important to let the information sink in, and then all the discussion about it to come through, because then you really take it in. And we're not in any kind of hurry. We're not in any kind of we'll read it in a year. I think at the rate we're going, it's going to take 10 years. But that's okay, because everything is exactly when it needs to be. So
exactly.
If you approach it like you want to try to get through it, I think it'll frustrate you, and you won't.
It makes sense. It makes sense. And in reality, once again, what you were saying about what is real and not, we are eternal beings, so in reality we don't need to be in a hurry. So I like what you said. 10 years is okay. And for people that would like to listen to that discussion about A Course in Miracles, where should they go? To your website, about oneness.com, or?
Yes, they can go to aboutoneness.com, and there is a tab called A Course in Miracles, and you can listen in. All the discussions that we have are posted on YouTube as well. So you can. The best place to do is to go through the website, and there's about 5 that I still need to put up. So nobody judge me, but I still have to put 5 of them up. And,
you're doing amazing work, because not only the Course of Miracles, but you're also doing the channeling and the radio. So for sure, we totally understand that you have those 5 chapters. It's totally fine with us.
But if anyone would like to join as well, if they would send a message to me in aboutoneness.com, you can go to the contact page and say that you would like to join, and we would, be welcome to having people join us in our discussion, either weekly or whenever they feel the need. It's always nice to have, the more minds you have focusing, the more there is to learn, and that's the way we're approaching it.
Beautiful. And for what I know, another of your passions is Hinduism. How did you come to that?
In a very strange way. Well, I had been talking with God since I could talk and could hear and everything, and I hadn't really known anything about Hinduism as a child, but I went through, learning about Christianity, and at one point sort of I don't want to say transitioning away, but being open to different things. And as you become more involved in Eastern thought, you start to explore things. So I started reading different Hindu texts, but it really didn't take hold. I think I read the Bhagavad Gita, I read the Mahabharata, I can't even say it right now. I'm tongue-tied because I'm a little bit jet-lagged. But I read some of the Vedantic text, and then it didn't really, the information was good, and I liked it, but it didn't really take hold. I didn't quite understand it. But I had a friend who was Hindu by birth, and he was Indian, actually. And he was just a good friend of mine, and he ended up getting very ill. He had what started out as a cold, and then it ended up being heart failure at 28 years old. And so I decided, being, I believe, a very strong spiritual person, that I was going to pray. And I was going to pray as long as it took for him to be better. Wow. And I just made this decision. And just something said to me, he's Hindu, you need to pray to his God. Wow. So I thought, all right, I'll do that. No. And so I consulted his cousin, who was another friend of mine, and I said, I want to pray. And his God was really Krishna, who is a different aspect of the one God, but I'll talk about that in a second. Yeah. And I started looking at the different Hindu gods, and I just came across Ganesha, who is the god with the elephant head. Right. And he was fat and cute, and I thought, I like you. But I didn't know anything about him except that he appealed to me on some level. And so I started to learn about him, and he is the God that removes obstacles. And I thought, there's no bigger obstacle than a guy who was now, one moment having a cold and the next moment almost needing a heart transplant, and they weren't knowing if he was going to make it through the night. So I learned a Ganesha mantra, which was Om Gom Ganapataye Namaha, which is basically, the Lord God Ganesha and the remover of obstacles. That's basically all it's saying. And you just chant that mantra over and over again. Well, I set up a small altar, and the altar was basically some flowers and, a picture of Ganesha. That's all I had. And I began chanting, and I chanted for about 4 months, every day for about 5 hours. Wow. Oh my goodness, 5 hours. Yeah, I would chant 2 hours in the morning. I chanted in the afternoon. I was so, this friend of mine, we were such good friends, and I was just not going to stop until he was better, because I couldn't understand how this was happening. It was it just seemed so wrong to me. And I called on everybody that I knew on the other side, and anybody I knew that had passed on, and I was like, I've never asked you people for anything, but you cannot die. And so I chanted, and in that period of time, I fell in love with Ganesha. I really had just an amazing connection, and the love and the energy of that just built, and that was not my goal at all. And in that time, I learned a lot about who Ganesha was, what Ganesha represents, and Ganesha is Ganesha, I'll just explain. In Hinduism has a lot of gods, but there is only one God, is the belief system. There's only one universal truth, which what you can call source or the universe or whatever you want to call it. But like facets of a diamond, these gods represent different things. And whatever's appealing to you, there's some sort of physical manifestation in the personality of a god. Thank you for sharing that. Sorry to interrupt, but when I had my awakening, when I was in Spain about 15 years ago, I connected very strongly with Hinduism, but I was a little confused with all the different beings, and at that time I didn't find teachers, so finally I kind of let go of it.
And that you just said is so helpful to understand that it's just the different facets to see what you connect with. And
Right.
it's so interesting because one of my students, that is almost like my sister now, she's very much into Hinduism. So I reconnected with Hinduism now. And one of the beings that really connect with me is Rama. So I don't know if maybe later you can tell me a little more when you complete about Ganesha.
Yeah. So Ganesha, he has interesting aspects. He was a child who he defied his father, and that's how he lost his head. And then his mother, who was quite angry and also a god, said, you better put his head back on and bring it back to life. But Ganesha has specific aspects. He has the ability to see things from a larger perspective. He understands the bigger truth, and that always has appealed to me because that's what I've been always looking for. I wanted to see things. Ganesha is housed in the Om. The Om is the seed of creation. So if you're praying to Ganesha through the Om, you are actually touching his essence. And everybody is Oming. So in some way, everyone is connecting to that same energy of true universality and true oneness. And Ganesha represents ahimsa, which is a concept of do no harm. And he's really universal, unconditional love, and that's always what I've been focused on. So he just and I didn't know any of that going in to, like I said, to chanting for my friend, but all of that has come about. And I don't know if you've ever studied magic or high magic. Have you?
I didn't focus so much on that, no.
Okay. Well, there's a book called it's called the Abramelin the Mage, and it's a man he was a Jew, and he talked about in order to do magic, which, magic is really just setting an intention. We do that all the time. Right. But in order to do that, you had to connect your holy guardian angel. And part of the principle of that was spending about 6 months in prayer to your guardian angel to build that connection. And once you sort of had that strong connection, then you would understand the principles of the universe, and then you would understand how to set an intention, and then you would understand how to create. And that's what we've been doing now in this sort of expansion, is people are learning to create their own reality. Yes. Well, that's all magic is. That's all magic is about creating what you want, setting an intention. And so in this the first part of really doing that was connecting to your holy guardian angel, so that you have that strong bond, so that you know beyond anything who you truly are and what you truly believe. And I believe very strongly that by having this long period of prayer to Ganesha, I actually did that. I made that such a strong bond in the same way that is explained in that study. So
beautiful. Wow, that's so special. Thank you so much for sharing it. And for somebody that would like to explore and start connecting with their God in Hinduism, what would you recommend so that they feel a little less lost about it?
Well, what I would first recommend is meditation, and I would recommend oming, just in the simple, basic idea of quieting yourself. And then what I would do is, because it's not so important that you connect to a God, or because it's the aspect of what it is you want to understand. You could just read about, you have to do a little bit of research, but you could just read about the different gods. They pick the top 5. Take Kali, Ganesha, Krishna, Vishnu, Rama, right? Right. And and then see about, what appeals to you about them. But I believe it's the same thing as a guru. You are called to a specific god or a specific guru or a specific energy, because that's really you. If everything is your mirror, if everything is an extension of you, it's just finding yourself, isn't it? So by being open to it, all you really need to do is, when you do start meditating, just say to the universe, I am open to knowing myself more and more. Bring me. And be open. I don't really believe that you have to chase any of it. I think you have to be open, and what is really important for you will show up. I really believe in that more than, explore it, of course, read about it, but I don't know that you should chase any of it, because it's only you trying to find yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, and life is going to take us to where we have to go for sure, the same that happened to you.
Yeah. You might just be praying for somebody and, next thing you know. Yeah.
So just as my curiosity, and maybe for some people that is listening, do you know about Rama? What would you share about Rama?
Well, Krishna is Rama. Hare Krishna. The Hare Krishnas, they are focused on Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna is the sort of God. I mean, he is God, the God of God. So have you ever read the Bhagavad Gita or not?
No, at that time I started reading a little bit, but I did not complete it.
Well, everyone should read it if they, just out of curiosity. But it's a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna on a battlefield of war, and Arjuna is a wonderful human being who is completely upset about the fact that he is going to be warring over land, and people that he will be fighting are people that he's known his whole life, and he can't understand how this war is just. And basically Krishna speaks to him and says how basically we're eternal beings, and that this is just a game that we're playing. This is just a stage, a theater production we're taking part in, basically. And Krishna lays out the entire aspect of spirituality, and it's one of the most important books of the Vedantic texts, and it talks about who we are, and it talks about oneness, basically, that we are one, and that there's nothing that can be. If you die, you just are dropping your body, so don't worry about it. Don't worry, but play your part in this world as you've chosen to do. So Krishna is God, and the what you're calling Rama is in the, Hare Krishna is just Lord Krishna, Hare Rama is just another name for Krishna. But if you're attracted to Rama, then you're attracted to basically the one God, because Krishna says, I should find it for you and read it to you, but Krishna says, I am of the beasts, I am the lion, of the water, I am the ocean. He is the largest aspect of any of the different parts of God. If you think of Krishna, you think of all of it at once, as opposed to one smaller aspect. You're looking at the biggest aspect of it. He would be God, he would be Allah, he would be all the Odin, We're talking about God.
So the same would apply with Ganesha. Do you feel that you also find that connection more with Krishna at the end, or how you feel?
Well, my connection to Ganesha is more of an emotional connection.
I see.
Of appreciating the what he represents and aspiring to those things. But I would say if you were to look at because Ganesha is not sort of giving dissertations on life, whereas that is what Krishna is doing. That is what God did in the Bible, and Krishna does in the Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna is the representation of everything, and Ganesha is more of the aspect of oneness and the sort of universality. I don't. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, no, I can understand. What you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing about this. So many things to learn. Oh my goodness. And about oneness, what is your perspective on oneness? How would you describe it to somebody that wants to experience more of that feeling of oneness?
Well, I can say it from the aspect of myself, is that when I was a little girl and I wanted to know God, that was what I wanted to know. And I didn't really want to know anything else. And I was talking to God and was hearing God, as 4 and 5 years old. And about the time that I learned to read, we had a very big Bible, and that was really the only kind of, we weren't religious and we didn't go to church or anything, but we had this big Bible. And I thought that, well, that's where God lived, was in this big Bible. And so I pulled out this big Bible and I was saying, if this is the words of God, then what words do I need to know? And so I was saying, how do I know you? What do I need to know? And a voice said to me, just open the Bible to a page and look and see what you see. And so that's literally what I did. And I opened the Bible and I looked down and I saw the 1 John 4:20, and it said, if a man says he loves God but hates his neighbor, he is a liar. For how can he love God who he has not seen, but hate his neighbor who he has seen? And then I heard, that's all you need to know. And so I had very quickly the idea of, if I wanted to know God, I needed to love, because God was love, and I needed to be love. I needed to love everyone as myself, because they were me. I didn't understand they were me, but I understand in the beginning that it was about total acceptance of other people.
Right.
And really loving them. And as I got older and as I started to understand more, and you start to realize that, they say we're all connected because we are all one. Well, what does that really mean? It means that we're all part of this source. We're all part of God, and we're this part of this, we're a drop of the ocean, which is God or Krishna.
Right.
But when you take a bit of the ocean, if you take a cup and scoop up ocean and walk back to your house, well, it's not just a cup of water, it's still ocean. And that's what we are as human beings. And so if we're really all part of the ocean, then there's nothing different than us. There's no, and so it just means to me that we are all really one. We're all part of this source. And what is the point of seeing anything different? And my work for myself in this time and is, I say to my guides and I say to God, and when I pray and to Ganesha, I always say, I don't want to just know about oneness. I really want it to be who I am now, and not, I don't want to have to think about, oh yes, we're one. I want it to be so much a part of who I am that there is just no question in my mind.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that's where I am, and I think a lot of people are getting to that point now. And I'm not there, but that's where I would like to be.
Beautiful. And the journey is exciting.
Huh?
The journey to it?
The journey is exciting,
Yeah.
So now we're realizing the oneness now, but later we have to just so much be the oneness that if anyone told us that we weren't one, we would think it was absurd.
Oh, yes. I like that thought.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And another big thing in your life is channeling. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. It's changed since I first started.
How did you get started?
Well, like I've been saying, I've been talking to my guides and God since I was a little child, and they were talking always to me, and I was having, sometimes just, they would just say whatever they want to say, and then other times I would, have, conversations with them because, I always have a lot of questions, and so I would, pose questions and talk to them. But a few years ago, for the first time, I got names of who they were.
Wow.
And I had never, to be honest, it never dawned on me to ask who they were because I just knew it was, I just thought it was my higher self. But the personality didn't start really coming through or changing in the way of them distinguishing themselves as something other than just the sort of knowing voice in my head. And I started to understand there was a difference between what I was hearing from what I learned to be guides and then what I was sort of getting from, I would say, God. And so then I started to really pay attention to that and focus on that. And then at one moment, they told me who they were. And yeah, so, and then eventually I was doing automatic writing. I was always getting words of knowledge as I was talking to people. I was very close to the idea of channeling at all. I didn't want to do that. I didn't know that I liked the idea of giving over at that time what I would believe would be control, but that actually isn't what happened or how it works. But that's what I thought, and I thought, no, I don't want to go away and then come back, and yeah.
So are you practicing conscious channeling or trance channeling?
Well, I basically it's more trance channeling at this time.
Okay.
The conscious channeling that I do is more that if you and I are having a conversation and then they say something to me, then I'll I don't, like Nora Herald just goes back and forth very quickly.
Beautiful.
Yeah, between who's speaking, and I hear them, but they don't literally come in, and I don't step aside for a second. They come in, and then I come back like she does. Basically,
I see.
If you and I are having a conversation and something comes up, then they may say something to me, and I'll say, oh, my God just said to me this. And that's how, that's my conscious channeling. And the rest is trance channeling.
Oh, I see. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So the name of the entity or the collective that you are channeling is Theos. Is that correct?
It's Theos, yes. And what I understand is that they are all aspects of me. They're all part of me. They're my higher selves, but in different incarnations of me, of my soul. And there's 3 of them. The word Theos means word of God, which was, I believe, chosen very much to give me comfort, because I've, like I said, always been about God. So
Right.
and they're at a very high dimension. They are not. They are still slightly physical, but they are. They don't have. They have physical shape, but they are not. They're light. They do not have physical bodies.
Wow.
So if they were to appear, they would appear in a physical-looking shape, but they don't actually have physical bodies. That's what I would like to say.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, would you invite them to come in?
Yes. I just need a second.
Yes.
I just need a second. I need to ohm and just let them come through, and I will be here, but I will not be talking, because when they're talking, I'm hearing everything, but I'm a little bit on the side. So
sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me. Hello, Victoria.
Hi, Theos. So wonderful connecting with you. Thank you for being here today.
We are very pleased to talk with you.
I can feel the love. Thank you so much.
We raise our hands in namaste.
Oh, same to you. I would love for you, if you have any message to open this channeling, any message for our audience, that would be beautiful.
What we say always to the channel, to Karen, is think love, be love. It is not a matter of becoming, it is a matter of being. You can be whatever you think. So what do you choose to think about? We always recommend that you think about love.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And would you describe who you are, where you are right now, anything about your life that can be inspiring to us so that we can move beyond of our physical life and just see for a moment your life?
Karen is laughing in herself at the moment because she knew very much that you would ask this question. And we told her specifically the answer. When you ask where we are, the idea of physical location is not really true. We are is the location. We are.
That makes so much sense.
But we exist in different dimensions, because we are three. We are a collective. We are a collective mind, a group mind, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And we're sitting on the edge, as we explain, of different dimensions. And it's only as we focus that we dip in and out of these dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we are water.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we are air. Sometimes we're the smallest molecule or the space between. We go and we experience, and then we return.
Beautiful. That's so beautiful. And you know, when you mentioned water, this morning I was in the beach and I love the ocean. And at the same time, I feel that we really need to do something about our earth so that we restore our relationship with our Mother Earth and we can bring greater healing to the planet and respect the planet. Is there something that you would recommend for us to do for this transformation?
You mentioned the ocean, and there is no greater metaphor for the oneness of the planet. Water is a great connectivity because of the crystalline structure of the molecules of the water. And as you're standing in the ocean, setting an intention, that intention spreads throughout the entire world, through every molecule, through every crystalline structure.
Wow.
You can have before you a simple glass of water and set your intention with the idea, as Karen was speaking earlier, that a glass of water is not any less ocean than the full ocean itself. And when you are setting your intention into the water, you're setting your intention into the whole world.
Beautiful. I'm happy to hear that. I was actually singing to the ocean for healing, so I'm happy because now I feel that it went really throughout the world. So thank you.
Well, it goes very much throughout the whole world.
Oh.
You are very correct in your assumption.
Oh, so beautiful. And what would you say? I know that maybe your focus is not so much about intergalactic things. It's one of my passions, the idea that one day we will expand our awareness to connect with other planets, other beings. And from your perspective, do you see this happening, or how do you think it would be a good way to really become an intergalactic society?
One moment.
Sure.
Intergalactic. The word intergalactic. Internal. The connections will not be made outside of you. The connections will be made inside of you. When you understand, and we don't mean you, we mean all of you. When you understand the interconnectivity, the true oneness, there will be no need to journey to anything. There will be no need to reach out to anything. Because when you have the connectivity of oneness, you have the connectivity to everything. Inside. The goal is not to find what's outside of yourself. The goal is to know what's inside of yourself. And when you know that, you know everything. Everyone. There is no distance between you and you.
Right. Beautiful.
That is the hardest thing the human mind will ever understand. And that is why you are waking up. If you never wake up, you will never understand who you are.
It makes sense. I certainly always feel that at this moment we have internet as a reflection of our interconnectedness, and we need the computers, but I feel that one day we won't. And we will be able to just connect through our inner wisdom or inner world. So thank you for bringing that awareness about this idea of intergalactic society as well. And I would like to know if by working on our inner world, also that will reflect in our physical world in some ways, so that we can start experiencing that connection with other beings. I'm a little very excited about this idea, as you can see.
It's a beautiful idea to understand you. Again, we will say to you, the moment, and it will not be just one person that will connect with intergalactic beings, but it will be as a society this will happen. There needs to be a mass level of consciousness, a mass level of understanding before it's possible.
Right.
The work is not only for you, but it's for all of you. That sounds very long and processed. And the impatience that people feel is because it is brimming. It is coming. So keep working. Keep finding yourself. Keep looking inside.
Beautiful. And that is one of the reasons why I'm actually creating this show, so that we can, as a collective, become more aware of these things. So this is something that we can talk about.
I see you. I say I as us. I see you, Victoria, sitting with your hands joined with many people, creating a circle of light, raising a vibration, creating a realm of oneness. And you and your people will achieve a level of closeness that will bring you ever closer to seeking and understanding and finding what it is that you are asking. You will have these connections in your lifetime.
Wow. I have chills right now. How beautiful. Thank you. And another question that I feel is helpful for all of us is how we can connect more with that sense of unconditional love, acceptance, self-love. Anything that you will recommend as a generality and also as a daily practice? So both aspects, something just to keep in mind, some ideas, and then also something that we can actively practice.
One moment. This is a beautiful question. The one thing you can do is never see anyone as different than yourself. And not only say that in words, but know it in your heart. The people around you who challenge you are you. The people around you that love you are you. There is no difference between the two. There is no value of one greater than the other. The realization of this is a decision in the beginning. Deciding this is the first step towards total oneness. You are one, you just don't know you're one. There's no exercise other than being love and letting go of everything that is not love out of your life, out of your thought, out of your deeds.
Thank you. And one last question. I would like to know, from your perspective, what the animals, the beautiful animals that populate our earth, are reminding to us. Is there a message that they bring into us as a collective? Or I know that many of us feel a very strong connection with animals and their beauty and their presence in our lives. So I was wondering if, from your perspective, there is something specific that they intend to remind us.
It's interesting you ask the question of the animals. The animals are raising in consciousness to more of a human ability of thinking. They feel now more than they have ever felt on a human scale. But animals have always been connected to consciousness. Feeling has not been as developed as it is now, but every part of the earth is opening more towards feeling. Animals represent total understanding of who they are. They don't question their part of the universe. If you want an example of connectivity, look at an animal. Look at the trust an animal has in finding their food, in following their instinct. They don't question, they don't debate, they don't feel guilty. They just are.
Right. How beautiful. Would you say that something similar applies to what I call stone people or rocks? Something crystal?
Every manifestation of your planet, of the universe, has consciousness, has connectivity, has knowing, has something to teach, has something to share. A stone has the experience of being part of the building of your planet, being part of the structure of the planet. The teaching of a stone is like the storage of a computer.
Wow.
A stone is all knowledge held in the crystalline structure. A stone has come forth with the consciousness of being the conduit of knowledge. That is the job of the stone people, as you say. They are the libraries of the earth. A very important job.
Wow.
That is a very important consciousness that comes through.
Beautiful.
Trees are much the same. Trees are the teachers.
I can see that for sure. I always feel that beautiful wisdom coming from any element in the earth, whether it is just the four elements or the animals or the plants. It is such a conversation continuously giving us guidance and love.
I will challenge you to understand that you are also part of the stone people, another aspect of you. You are also part of the tree people, part of the air people. Those are all aspects of you.
Wow. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Theos, for being here with us today. Do you have any message that you want to leave us with?
Our only message is never worry. Only trust in the love. The love. It's only about the love, the oneness of the love. Think love, be one. We are Theos.
Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Namaste. Beautiful conversation with Theos. Karen, are you there? Are you back?
I'm coming back now.
Oh.
I'm coming back. Yeah, it's interesting because I physically was moving so very much. I don't know if I was making a lot of noise.
A little bit. I was wondering, but not very much. It was
they really were moving my head and my hands and doing all kinds of interesting things. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And we were about to do this in video. Imagine we will have trouble.
I listened to most everything. But did they say anything that surprised you, or because
many things were very special. Some of them I would feel an inner knowing, and some of them were a little more like, oh, this helps me seeing it in a different way. It was beautiful to be able to speak with them, and some of the questions actually came up kind of out of the blue, and it felt like it was needed to be asked.
Okay.
Yeah, all the information was beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I really enjoyed that they shared about the ascension in consciousness of the animals, for example. I feel that is something that I can see, and it is so nice to hear it from them. So, yeah.
I had that conversation with them a while ago, and they're, I even see it in my own animals, my own dog.
Right.
She's so smart and so interactive on so many different. I mean, she really has the range of emotions more so than, say, a dog I had 20 years ago, and I want to say she's communicating more on a human level. And I know that when I connect to trees and when I speak to them now, it seems that their connection is more human, and there's more emotions. But I do agree with that the consciousness that they have has always been there.
Yeah.
But now they're really evolving in a more emotional way.
Yeah.
I guess.
Amazing. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so to complete today, do you have something that you want to share about any of your services, your radio show, your events?
Well, on the radio, I would really like people to listen to the radio show.
Yay!
I have a lot of really amazing guests coming up, and once a month I'm on with my twin soul. We do readings for people,
right.
but so anyone can contact at any time. I do personal readings. You can reach me on aboutoneness.com for personal reading. But for the rest, I would just like people to tune into the show, and I would also just like everyone to do what Theos was saying, and try to let go of all the idea that you're different than anyone, that anyone or you has more value, that anything has any value other than just being part of the oneness. That's all I would really like to see happen in the world.
Yes.
Yeah. I liked what they said about connecting. I didn't really know that the thing about the idea of going
internal?
inside.
Yes. That's beautiful. I always think about that for us as a human collective, and I do have my connection internally with other beings. But I like how they expressed to start focusing on that more.
Oh, sorry, I don't want to.
No.
They were just talking to me as we were saying, because I hadn't heard them say that like they said it just now, and they said, "How do you think you're talking to us?"
Oh, right. Then it's true. Intergalactic. It certainly talks about internal.
Yeah, and if any channeler is connecting internally to who they're channeling, so if you want to have the connection, yes, I think what you were saying is you'd like to see a spaceship land and have all the stuff.
I just want them here, yes.
Yeah, but I think the thing is they probably are here, and the actual stepping out, as you would say, maybe will come after that connection is made internally.
Right, and I do feel that connection. I just, what they have told me is that I really have to focus more on it. Like what you said of daily practice for a few months, because I have my very strong connection with other spirit guides, but not so much maybe with certain beings that I could really, really devote more time to that. So I feel that is a part of the work I have to do.
Yeah, cool. Nice.
Okay, wow, that was really beautiful, and we talked about so many different things that it has been a very, very interesting show, Karen.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, and for anyone who wants to go to Karen's website, it is aboutoneness.com. That's the main website, right? Where they can find everything.
They can find everything, and more is coming all the time.
Ooh, exciting. Okay, so thank you so much, Karen, for being here with me today. We have an opportunity to talk because we talk on Facebook, but now we talk in person. That's awesome.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Victoria. Much love to you.
Much love to you as well. And we are going to close this show now. Just remember our connection. And today, what we have to close is going to actually be Karen Neumann sharing about all the announcements for all the different shows. I'm so excited because she created this beautiful recording with all the information. So she's going to make my job very easy today. And also, I wanted to just announce the show for next week with Christopher Niergas. He's the author of several books of wild foods, wilderness skills, nature awareness, ecology awareness. So he will be here next week. And as you know, this is Earth and Sky. So today we have more of the sky aspect, and next week is going to be the adventure in the earth, in the wilderness. So all the details for that is at victoriavives.com/radio. And now the announcement by Karen Neumann.
Hi, this is Karen Neumann from the show About Oneness, and here's what's coming up on the Enlightenment Evolution Network 1 and 2, starting on Monday, November the 3rd, until Sunday, November the 9th. Simply put, Rob Gautier, founder of the EEN and the host of the show that started it all, the Enlightenment Evolution Hour, has put together the greatest metaphysical radio network ever. 7 days a week, we have shows that will aid you on your path to enlightenment, evolution, and ascension. On EEN1, Mondays, it's 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is Heart to Heart Talk Radio with your host, Daniel Scranton. Join Daniel and his featured guests discussing a wide variety of metaphysical topics. Daniel channels the Creators, the Hathors, Ophelia the Fairy, and Archangel Michael, and the latest, the Unicorn Collective. Daniel and his guests will take phone calls and questions, and it's sure to generate high-frequency discussions. You can find more about Daniel at his website, danielscranton.com, and also on Facebook. Go to the Events tab on Daniel's website to learn more about Daniel's upcoming events. Daniel's guest this Tuesday is Doug Baseball Guy White, and on the 10th of November, his guest is Terry Piowa. Terry is an intuitive, psychic, and astrologer. On Tuesday at noon, also 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, please join hosts Megan Crandallmeyer and Rachel Archelaus for Radio Inspiration, Expression, and Abundance for their show Soulfulpreneur. Spiritual business specialists Rachel and Megan will bring you inspiring conversations with people who are living their soul purpose. Frequent guests include psychic mediums, channelers, coaches, artists, and authors. They end every show with psychic readings and business coaching. Your questions about your spiritual business or life purpose journey are welcome. Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, is the show that started it all, the Enlightenment Evolution Hour with host Rob Gautier. Rob channels Treb on the first Wednesday of each month and will take callers' questions. On the third Wednesday, we'll have special guests such as guest channelers and other metaphysical teachers. The other 2 Wednesdays are freestyle call-in shows to discuss whatever callers have on their minds. Tune in to Rob on Wednesday nights, and you can also find him at trebchanneling.com and on Facebook at the Enlightenment Evolution Network group page. Rob has 2 special announcements. Starting on Sundays from September 14th, trebchanneling.com offers hour-long meditation classes. Please go to trebchanneling.com to register. Another project near and dear to Rob's heart is the much-anticipated sequel to the groundbreaking film Tuning In, called Tuning In Now. The movie will feature channelers such as Daryl Anka and Bashar, Lee Carroll and Cryon, and our very own Rob Gautier and Treb. Tuning In Now will explore the amazing work of today's top channels and how they are helping to awaken the consciousness of the planet. The film is in fundraising stages at the moment, and with a contribution for as little as $15 all the way up to $50, you can help make sure that this film is made. Please go to Indiegogo.com, that's Indie, I-N-D-I-E, Gogo, G-O-G-O.com, and type in the search Tuning In Now 2. That's the number 2. Tuning In Now with the number 2. On Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, join host Philip Malika with the Consciousness Evolution Hour. Join Philip and his special guests and co-hosts as they discuss the shift, ascension, timelines, metaphysical concepts, and the 5th dimension. Find Philip at the Consciousness Evolution 2.0 group page on Facebook and on YouTube. On Friday, The Earth Experience with your host, Kalina Angel, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. The Earth Experience explores our soul's expansion through our human experience on Earth. Kalina will help you to navigate and expand through the exciting confusions that we are manifesting as new 5D beings. On Sundays, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, is my show, About Oneness. About Oneness is a weekly radio program focused on celebrating the ongoing conscious awakening of our planet and our realization of oneness. I'm an American originally from Charleston, South Carolina, now living in Europe, The Hague, the Netherlands. I'm an integrated channel, medium, Reiki Master, and metaphysical teacher. I have a varied and diverse background, including that of being a singer, dancer, writer, as well as working in the the sport nutrition and fitness world. As a channel, I bring forward the information of my non-physical guides called Theos, whose message is always that of oneness and unconditional love. This show for me is about integrating all of my experiences and following my highest excitement, which is tapping into the truth of the universe. If you would like to find more about me and my show and my upcoming guests, as well as see many videos and channelings and teachings, you can go to aboutoneness.com. My guest on Sunday, November the 9th, is medium Annika Clausens from the Netherlands. Annika attended the world-renowned Arthur Findlay College in the UK, and as a mentor, she has Mavis Patilla. If you have questions about mediumship and tuning in to those that have passed on, have your questions ready because Annika will be live and taking callers' questions. On the Enlightenment Evolution Network 2, on Tuesdays, join host Victoria Vives at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, hosting Earth, Sky, People Radio, your bridge between heaven and earth. Subjects will include planet Earth becoming part of an intergalactic society, star seeds and extraterrestrial life, living in oneness with one another, with Mother Earth and with life beyond Earth, the Interstellar Alliance, also known as the Galactic Federation of Light, music, frequency, and sound healing, question and answer interviews, shamanism, ancestral wisdom, and the star nations, self-sustainative and regenerative living, and much, much more. Go to victoriavives.com/radio where people can start submitting questions for upcoming shows. Victoria's show on Tuesday the 4th is Victoria's Secret to Fall in Love with Life on Earth, special training for both star seeds and earthling. On Tuesday the 11th, her guests are New Earth Music and New Earth Theater, bringing a new dimension of consciousness to music and entertainment. On Saturday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 6 p.m. Pacific, the Pied Piper and Texas Rebel hosting the show Disclosure Now. Disclosure Now is the On the Edge of Our Seats show that covers all topics of disclosure, from the world's most famous and obscure UFO cases to cryptozoology, conspiracies, and all things that go bump in the night. Pied Piper started his journey in Michigan in 1993 as a preteen seeing Bigfoot and never could get enough of investigating all things paranormal. Texas Rebel is a wild Texas man who loves the same journey and has studied these same things for years. Join them as they cover all things in the human experience that just cannot be answered by anyone. Listen here and call in on the number 347-215-8586. Coming soon on Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, The Resonance and Tension, hosted by Soul and Neil Gar. The Resonance and Tension show is dedicated to all things frequency and vibration. They will showcase conscious musicians who infuse frequencies into their music and have set out to uplift and raise the vibration of humanity through their music. They will have in-depth discussions with various artists about their passion, purpose, and personal journey that led them to where they are now. Additionally, they will routinely have guests on the topics of free energy, technology, and other quantum modalities and technologies that are coming into existence now. The Resonance Intention is a platform for artists, musicians, and inventors to increase awareness of their personal approach in order to contribute to the paradigm shift we are currently within. And remember, you never have to miss any show on the Enlightenment Evolution Network 1 or 2. All shows are available to listen to again immediately after they air on playback. All right, back to the show.